This is one case filled with all the chaos in the world. Trust me. The defendant, Mr. Baker, refused to accept Ms. Commons' 2-year-old baby. Why? Well, Mr. Baker claims to have found out that she cheated on him just 5 months ago after being a loving dad to her daughter for more than a year. Well, here is how the case began.
Ms. Commons, you claim the defendant has been denying your 2-year-old daughter Breeze and refuses to do anything for her. You are furious and testify that you are certain he is the father and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, one we can deny is the fact that Ms. Commons is pissed about the situation. She tells the judge that from the very beginning, Mr. Baker was a sweet, loving man, claiming that her child should not have to suffer because Mr. Baker doubts. The big question now is, if he was such a sweet man, why did he switch up all of a sudden?
Give me an example how he denies.
First he'll say, go over there to your mama. He know how my baby is affectionate. My baby got a skin fetish. She like to rub on people. So that hurt my feelings when he be like, go to your mama, and she be like, I want you. And he just saying, go to your mama, go to your mama. Why are you telling her to go to her mother and she wants you? She knows
and that makes you emotional when
exactly.
I can't be the only one who saw that face Mr. Baker gave when Ms. Commons was talking about how she felt bad that he was always neglecting her daughter. Could Ms. Commons be lying about the whole situation? Well, I guess we are going to find out now, won't we?
First of all, I got doubts because everything that come out of her mouth a lie. Like, all the stuff she did in the past, from
you can't hold
just cheating with multiple
against them
people. Cheating with multiple people. I could catch her like if her phone bing, she had it.
If my phone bing, you just want it. It could be.
Aha. This dude did not just say that. Judge Lauren asked him how he felt when Ms. Commons told him she was pregnant. He said that he asked her immediately if he was the father because he knew and caught her on numerous occasions messing with other men in the house. Wow.
I was like, well, I don't know, but if she is, man, you feel me? I'm gonna be there for you. I do want to be a good father to my kids.
Yeah,
so you decided you wanted to try to be a family?
Yeah, because I do want to.
How can you decide at that time when you were saying we wasn't never exclusive? You need to evaluate yourself. First of all,
What was she expecting? Yes, he was there throughout the pregnancy. He has been taking care of the child all this while, and she goes on to drop a truth bomb on him that she had something to do with her ex. If I were in his shoes, I would take the little go and disappear for real.
Of Breeze's life, you believe she was yours and you decided to make a family.
Yes.
Now, the first bomb got dropped, you said, when you appeared in couples court. What happened?
2 separate guys on 2 different occasions. On 2 different days, though. It was a weekend, right? Basically, I'm gonna say this.
Mr. Baker did not just go full undercover mode to catch Ms. Commons cheating. He tells the judge that he told her he was going to be out with his friends. The catch was that he was going to tell Ms. Commons that he was out, but later sneaked into the house to catch her in the act.
3 in the morning. Knock on the door, or ring the doorbell, whatever. She come to the window, guy walk right out. Wasn't nothing open up in there that night but legs. You feel me? And she said she ain't did nothing.
That night.
And she said she ain't
Oh! Woman, if it was some legs open, I don't have
Next day, right?
On my goodness. 2 different guys? Come on, Ms. Commons. It looks like Mr. Baker's undercover work paid off after all. He claims to have caught her with 2 different guys on 2 different occasions. He went on to say that she even told him that one of the guys gave them oral sex. Wow.
We chilling in the hot tub, jacuzzi and everything, and out the blue just came. I cheated. Hold on.
No, Jan, that's not what happened. I can tell you exactly what happened.
She like, I cheated, I stepped out. So I'm looking like, when you do it? I asked her, like, when? She talking about,
Damn. Ms. Commons is one busy woman. Cheating on Mr. Baker with 3 different people? That is just over the bar for real. One would honestly ask if she ever loved Mr. Baker at all, because if she did love him, I honestly doubt she would be doing any of this.
Had sex with him after you had the baby, what you was saying that was my baby. You had sex with him after that and before that, and then how I know that ain't his child? You feel me?
You wanna know how I know for a fact that it's his daughter? How? Because when my baby was a little baby, she had whooping cough.
Ms. Commons has got to be one delusional woman. I mean, she might be right about the whooping cough, but is she really one to ignore the fact that she slept with 3 different dudes before she had the baby? She had better be joking.
Mr. Baker?
Basically, Your Honor, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You feel me? Her legs were still open. The fact is that
you want to put everything on me, but your legs were still open as well. We were both doing stuff. Don't make me a bad person. I'm human just like you. Don't play with my feelings.
I can't trust
Period.
her. All she do is
I can't trust you either. You slept with somebody on Valentine's Day while I was pregnant.
Judge Lauren, the words right out of my mouth for real. This is actually a recipe for disaster. Having unprotected sexual relationships with other people and thinking they wouldn't have consequences. That's not how it works.
Like she was having sex with other guys.
During the time Breeze was conceived.
Absolutely.
You say you know that for a fact.
Yeah, because we'd talk on the phone too, and she'd tell me like,
That's a
you
lie.
know, I just left from my friend's house, dude, and she'd tell me like, oh girl, his sex was.
When the best friend gets involved, best believe that all the secrets are about to pop out, and that's exactly what's happening here. Mr. Baker's witness, who happens to be Ms. Common's best friend, drops all the truth bomb, and trust me, it's a lot. Well, let's see what these results have to say about this situation.
Commons versus Baker. When it comes to 2-year-old Bree Baker.
Ms. Points drags her ex to the courtroom today to prove that he is the father of her daughter. But here is the catch. She claims that she made a mistake years ago telling her ex, Mr. Rowan, that he was not the father of her child years ago. Now she hopes to correct that wrong. Here is how the case begins.
Ms. Points, you say you made the biggest mistake of your life by saying 5 words. You are not the father to the defendant. You claim they were said only out of anger and not based in truth. You opened this case to prove to the defendant that he...
That has got to be heartbreaking. It seems like her daughter is not the type to forgive and let go of things. But the question now is, how did it all go wrong? What did her mother possibly tell her while she was growing up that made her daughter hate her this much?
You're convinced you're not Sherelle, Ms. Points' biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why are you convinced?
Well, not only was it the fact of what she said, I wasn't the father. It says I was there from day one since she was born, and they handed her to me, and right then I looked, cause I got like...
Mr. Rowan has one funny dude, trust me. Even the way he talks will have you laughing off your chair. He claims to have had multiple other children with other women, and out of all the children he has had, Ms. Points' child just happens to be the one that doesn't feel anything like him.
Ritual, you know, every day I get out of school, I would go home, and my mom, she'd be at work, and here come Miss Points. Every day she come over, and Marcellus knock on the door, and I look out the window, and she, I'm like, all right.
Haha, like I said, he is one funny individual, but it does seem like they had a very lovely, cute high school relationship back in the day. I mean, he said they had other kids together. I'm sure if there was no love, they would not go about making babies just for the fun of it. So what went wrong?
Hey,
So, at the hospital, baby's born. At that point, you're accepting.
right.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Well, Your Honor, birth certificates and me don't get along. She's saying I did, but
Yeah, you did.
nah, you know, I don't do birth certificates because that's like,
He doesn't do well with child support? I can't believe Mr. Rowan just said that. One would honestly think he is denying the baby so he doesn't have to pay for any child support fees he may have missed out on. Oh well, he says he did not sign the birth certificate.
Did you feel like this is not my child and started to deny her?
I never denied her. 2 years into it, she told me that somebody else was the father, and I wasn't even trying to hear that. I'm like, I done been daddy for 2 years.
Let's just say Mr. Rowan is all about his money. He isn't ready to give it out if it doesn't have to be given. He tells Judge Lauren that after taking care of her baby for 2 months and paying for everything, Ms. Points drops a bomb on him and says he is not the father of the child.
Frustrated about a whole lot of things that was going on with him, doing what he was doing out here, so, you know.
And so you just decided, I'm gonna say these words to hurt him.
Because I knew that's the most important thing to him, and I knew it was gonna get to him.
Never understanding how you would hurt your daughter.
This is why it's always good to watch what you say when you're angry. Now she's here trying to pay for a mistake that could have been avoided. Well, at least she knows she made a big mistake and is ready to right her wrongs. Does her daughter want that though?
My hair was nappy, and he wanted to know if I was his daughter or not. She kept on saying it's a possibility that Marcellus was my daddy.
Just a possibility that he was your dad.
Yes,
And so
Your
this was all about your hair.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we didn't understand that as
Well, you really can't fault her for feeling that way. She remembers how her parents argued about her paternity when she was much younger. All she wants right now is for her kids to have someone they can look at and call their granddaddy.
To me, she'd tell me I look like that other guy.
Really? Is that what you're saying, Miss Points? You saying a lot when you get mad.
Yes, I do. I tend to say the wrong things.
And so you said that to your daughter. You look like that other guy.
Yes, I did. You're right.
So there was another guy.
Now, that cat is really out of the box. The tables are about to flip on Ms. Points. She admits in court that she was in fact messing with another guy while she was in a relationship with Mr. Rowan, and anytime she got mad at her daughter, she would say her daughter looked like the other guy. Wow.
Yeah, ma'am.
You are not on Sherelle's birth certificate.
I know I didn't sign it. I don't do birth certificate.
But another man's name is.
Well, that's
Miss Point.
makes me want to just clench my pearls now, cause
Oh, and there goes another truth bomb in the courtroom. Ms. Points initially told the judge that Mr. Rowan signed the birth certificate. The judge went out and got the certificate, and apparently another man's name was on the birth certificate. Ms. Points has a lot of explaining to do.
I just didn't want it to be.
Are you being honest?
Yes, I am.
Sherelle, I know hearing this testimony is difficult, but how does it make you feel to hear your mother finally tell the truth?
Out of 29 years, like I'm sad.
I know it makes you sad.
Cause she been lying this whole time.
don't cry, boo-boo. It's all right.
This lady is evil. Talk about a chaotic situation. This is the worst. So she's been lying and keeping some darker secrets all this while? At this point, only the DNA results can really do justice to all her lies. Here they come.
To 29-year-old Sherelle Points. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Rowan, you are not the father.
No.
You are not the father. I'm so sorry.
Mr. Hunter caught Ms. Davies cheating on him while they were engaged. Of course, he went on to call off his wedding to her. He is also now denying paternity to Ms. Davies' son, Jaden, who believes he is not the father. Ms. Davies says all of this is a lie, and Mr. Hunter is seeing things that do not exist. Well, here is how it all began.
And Devon, like you stated, have been together for 5 years, almost 6. And due to all the rumors, he no longer wants to get married. He has cut off our wedding plans. So I'm here today to prove that he...
Look at Ms. Davies sounding like a really confident woman. A woman as confident as Ms. Davies is definitely not lying about the paternity of her child, right? Funny things such as this simply do not ever happen at paternity court. Trust me, this has to be the most chaotic thing ever for real.
But then I started finding text messages, phone calls from other females. So at that point of the relationship, Your Honor, I no longer trusted him at all.
Well, I found messages in her phone too, same thing. So that's why I started doing the things I was doing.
Isn't that something? So, both of them simply continued cheating on one another. It seems like the most unhealthy relationship, but Ms. Davies has a good reason for cheating on her husband. She absolutely does. She's doing it because he's doing it. Isn't that just the most valid thing?
Then I decided that, okay, two can play that game, and I decided to go out and talk to someone else.
Now, once you did that, what happened?
Well, once I did, I briefly had a relationship with a guy. We were sexually together a few times.
Well. Technically, she did not exactly sleep with the man. She was just sexually in contact with him, whatever that means. However, if she ended up being pregnant from this interesting sexual contact, how come she's so certain that this baby belongs to Mr. Hunter and not Mr. Sexual Contact?
I was 100% sure at the time, but I wanted Devon to be the father because he has been there in my life for, at this time, we've been together like 2.5 years.
All right, so now we're getting honest now. And
Right.
that's what we're here to do. The truth is when you told him you wanted him to be,
Yes.
but you didn't know for certain.
Finally, now, we're getting some important truths in court today. Now that Mr. Hunter says he had doubts immediately she told him she was pregnant, it's so interesting to think about the sort of things this man heard about his girlfriend. What could have made him, Mr. BT, his partner, have his baby?
Tell me that she been hanging out, hopping in and out of cars, you know what I mean? I had a friend that told me they went to a party one time and she hooked up with some guy at the party. That was around the time when the baby was finna be conceived.
You're not denying it.
Oh my goodness, Ms. Davies. She literally just told us about Mr. Sexual Contact, someone she had sex with several times. It's definitely understandable that Mr. Hunter has a lot of paternity doubts. Who would blame the guy, really?
I'm at her house, right? She let me stay over her house. I had been drinking, so I want to go lay down, right? I accidentally fall asleep longer than I'm supposed to, so she's thinking I'm gone. She brings another guy and another girl upstairs into the room while I'm in there. So then she makes me.
Whoa, what an interesting story. Ms. Davies, how many men are in the picture? How exactly is Mr. Hunter not supposed to have a million paternity doubts? It's one thing if the man has things he's thinking about and rumors he's hearing, and it's another thing when he's seeing them all happening in high definition.
Come over just because he was drinking. He said he needs to sleep it off for a while. So I'm thinking he's gone. And so I did come with the guy and the girl to my house in my room.
What were you bringing the guy and the girl in your room to do?
Your Honor,
We all know what that's finna do.
What a woman. So there are now at least 2 different guys in the equation, and somehow Ms. Davies insists that her son belongs to Mr. Hunter. It's definitely not all case scenarios that Mr. Hunter caught. It makes one wonder about the ones that got away.
We're sitting in the living room one day, and then she gets up and walks to the kitchen, and she's in the kitchen for like maybe 10, 15 minutes. She's supposed to came back already. I walk around to the kitchen, and she's damn near standing in between this guy's legs.
What a lineup of stories. Phew. What a woman indeed. You know what? We have heard enough. It is time to check out the DNA test results and see what is actually going on here. Is Ms. Davies a big fat liar, or is Mr. Hunter just trying to run from his responsibilities?
Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
I told you.
If you think you have seen chaos, this would make you think otherwise. In this situation, Ms. Ellis told the judge that she had a brief fling with the defendant 3 years ago. After a while, she found out she was pregnant and is now present in court, hoping to prove to the court that he is the father. She began her case like this.
Ms. Ellis, you claim you had a brief fling with the defendant 3 years ago. Soon after, you ended up pregnant, and now you hope to prove that he fathered your 3-year-old son, Zamarian.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Coger, you argue it would have to be a medical miracle.
I definitely wasn't expecting to hear that. If they did not have sex, how did she get pregnant? Anyway, Judge Lauren proceeded to ask the defendant, Mr. Coger, how their relationship started, and he claimed they kicked off as friends from the start.
And that's what came to the point where she wanted to come over and stuff like that, so she would come over, we would hang out. Over the next course of time, we ended up being home alone. There's nothing wrong with her, there was nothing wrong with me, we both was attracted to each other, and came about with, hey, might want to go upstairs and,
Now their story is quite confusing. Mr. Coger told the judge that from what he could remember that night, they never had sex. Ms. Ellis, on the other hand, told the judge that they already started having sex before it came to an end due to her feeling some discomfort. To back up his claim, Mr. Coger presented this evidence to the judge.
This is a message.
We never messed around at all.
You said it hurt to have sex, and then you say, Miss Ellis, because it did, but I can take it now.
We never had intercourse at any time.
This only goes to prove that the testimony that you're giving right now is the truth.
I'm with the judge on that one. Their stories do not sound anything alike. Mr. Coger was done showing the court his evidence. Judge Lauren then faced Ms. Ellis and asked her to give an account of what she remembered happening that night.
And then, we started, talking about sexual stuff or whatever. We went upstairs. As he said, he got undressed, I got undressed. And I was like, okay, it hurt. And he was like, you want me to stop? So I was like, no, you can keep going or whatever. So he kept going. And so I was like, okay, now it's starting to hurt a little too bad now. Can you stop or whatever?
So bottom line is, and we'll say this politely.
This is going to be one tough case to settle. Trust me. Moving on, Ms. Ellis was out shopping with her mom when she passed out. As soon as that happened, she was rushed to the hospital where she was hit with a truth bomb from one of the nurses.
Where you realize you're pregnant.
Okay, one day me and my mom, we was out having mother-daughter day shopping, going out to eat and everything. So we're walking to a shopping mall or whatever, and next thing you know, I passed out. And I had to be rushed to the hospital. I woke up, I'm in the hospital room, I'm not knowing, what's going on, what to do.
Oh, trust me, that's not the news she was expecting to get from the hospital. Mr. Coger, on the other hand, found out about the pregnancy in a very ridiculous way. When the judge asked him how he found out, this was the reply he gave her.
Out about the pregnancy?
I found out via Facebook.
Oh.
Facebook.
And I have my ultrasound picture. I have my ultrasound picture when I found out.
I was scrolling, we was friends on Facebook. I scrolled through her pictures, found out she was pregnant. I saw her stomach, you know, she was all pregnant, you know, stuff like that. So, yes, I did ask her. I said, hey, you pregnant?
Well, you heard her. She did not want Mr. Coger to have anything to do with her baby. Another truth bomb is about to hit the floors of the courtroom. Apparently, a week before they messed around in the bedroom, Ms. Ellis was intimate with another man, which then begs the question, how certain is she that Mr. Coger is the father?
A week or so prior to us messing around, yes.
So a week or so prior to you and Mr. Coger having the sex that you may not have had, you were intimate with someone else?
Yes.
Without protection?
Yes.
All right. You have evidence as well. Jerome, let me see that, please. So here, Mr. Coger, you...
Wow, Ms. Ellis has got to be kidding. She had already told him he was not the father of the child. Why then is he in court? Jeez. Anyway, Mr. Coger had his wife by his side in the courtroom. When the judge asked her what she had to say about the situation, this was her response.
I support my husband in the whole thing because there's no reason for him to lie about something that happened before we even got together.
He lied about a lot of things. You don't know about a lie.
He doesn't have to lie about having sex with anyone. And on top of that, called her in front of me and put it on speakerphone, and he asked her the same incident.
Did he tell you we had sex in the car?
Excuse me.
That definitely makes Ms. Ellis look like she's been lying in the courtroom. One thing is for sure, though, DNA results never lie about these kinds of situations. Let's find out who the father of the child is.
Ellis v. Coger, pertaining to 3-year-old Zamarian Johnson. Mr. Coger, you are Zamarian's father.
Ms. Petty has been sleeping with 2 men simultaneously, using one to get back at her ex, and at the same time keeping him in her life because of the baby she already has for him. What a woman. This is about to be one hell of a case, and here is how it all began.
It's because she was sleeping around with me and Peter at the same time. The only reason I started messing around with her was to get my son.
You have an older child together, so you were messing around with her to get him.
The way you gotta get it, the way you could get your kid is if you, all she want is the D, so you gotta sleep with it. You know, all you got.
Whoops! After having the older child together, they had the option of staying together and raising the boy. They obviously did not take that option. Ms. Petty moved on with another man too. So why in hell and in the heavens did they keep messing around with one another?
When she was on birth control. I tried to stop messing with her, but every time I stopped messing with her, she'll go ahead and bring up like, well, you can't see your son and all this, you ain't gonna be able to, I don't want him to come over there because it's unsafe.
And when you refer to Peter, that's Mr. Daniel.
Yes, Mr. Daniel, my bad.
Your contention is that...
Oh, Ms. Petty, surely the entire concept of commitment must be too much for your pretty head. If you choose a man, the whole point of it all is to stay with that one man. Nothing like staying with the man and still going back to your ex-boyfriend. But here we are.
He had to give my daughter his last name because he knew all the lies Stefan was telling me.
No, because everybody know everything he was telling me. They were staying together for 2 years.
About how he didn't want to.
Well. Look at both of them go. It's so difficult for Judge Lake to get a word in as it is. If Ms. Petty claims that her current boyfriend put his name on the certificate because he knows the lies Stefan told her, how come she's still sitting at his feet eating up all those lies? Those lies gotta taste hella good, if you know what I mean.
He don't want to be around for her. He didn't even give her the chance, to get to know him. He avoided child support. He avoided DNA test for my daughter. In St. Louis, I told him, you know what? I don't want to keep running around and all this action is. Can you just please take the DNA test? But
whoa, Ms. Petty really thinks that he already knows in his gut and is trying to run away from his responsibilities. What if he doesn't, though? What if he's just a man that keeps projecting off of the fact that he really does not know if it's his baby or not?
During the window of conception, about how often were you sleeping with each man?
I would have sex with them on the same day.
I was afraid I was going to hear that.
All she was trying to do was break a relationship. She was just trying to break up my relationship.
How am I breaking up his relationship?
Because anytime.
Okay, so Mr. Ball, come over and have sex. You called me.
Oh my goodness, she's been doing what? Does her current boyfriend even know about this? Oh, it would simply break him. Why exactly is Mr. Ballet acting like he never did anything wrong too, talking about how Ms. Petty keeps ruining his relationship? Why did he have to keep sleeping around with his ex as well? Come on, it definitely was consensual sex.
Up until this point, until the baby was born, did you know that she had been having a sexual relationship with Mr. Ball as well?
She told me before because of the situation when we got together.
Okay.
So she told me that there was one time where they did.
But through the entire pregnancy, you were there?
every
You
time.
were there at the birth?
Yes.
Of course, she told him about the one time. Now, who knows if it's just one time or there are more times. After every single moment Mr. Daniels has had with the baby, imagine ripping his heart out of his chest and tearing it to pieces, telling him that he's not the father.
You and Mr. Ball had a sexual relationship.
Last week.
It was not last week. It was not last week. Your Honor, the last time we had a sexual relationship is when she said they broke up.
Mr. Daniel, I see you stomping your foot. Is that anger, frustration? What do you feel?
She didn't say anything like that.
During this time, have you suspected that they were still together?
What is wrong with these two? Honestly, they are meant for one another, and they need to take their baggage out of Mr. Daniels' life. They were together last week, as per some days ago. Isn't that the most messed up thing? It seems like it would really never end.
Car outside, so I walk around to the window. I look in there, and all of a sudden, I'm looking around to see what's going on. I see her hand, he's laying down. Her hands is in his boxers.
Okay, I can see the truth is from the look on your face that you all had another sexual encounter that day.
I wasn't even trying to that day.
Whoa, her hand was where? Surely she wasn't looking for some truth down his boxers. This woman has a loyal and responsible man that loves her and keeps taking all of this. What more does she want? Putting her hands down other men's boxers, searching for God knows what?
If she's not mine, I'm happy for Mr. Daniel. But if she is mine, I just want to say I want custody of both of my children. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a better parent than both of them. Because
He a better parent than both of us.
Yes.
Well, my son was
Wait.
in the hospital,
Oh my
in the ER. I said,
Well, now both dads want full custody. Isn't that something? Let's find out if the baby belongs to Mr. Daniels or Mr. Hands Down His Boxers. Maybe there's another man whose boxers she was searching for some other truth in. We'll find out today in court. Here are the results. Who do you think the father is?
Versus Ball Daniel, as it pertains to 11-month-old Alea, and whether Mr. Ball or Mr. Daniel is the biological father. Mr. Ball, you are her father.
Mr. Lang and Ms. Brown are both in the court with their mothers. So this is about the grandmothers, but wait. These two families want baby Janelle to be Mr. Lang's daughter, except for Mr. Lang's mother. Additionally, there are some compounding issues on ground, and that's where the problem lies.
Mr. Lang, you and your mother, Ms. Lang, have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Mr. Lang's best friend, Mr. Lang's mother's doubt is valid if that's true, but Ms. Brown says it's not true. Now we need to hear a better explanation of this from both parties. And by saying both parties, that means Mr. Lang and Ms. Brown.
What is your account of how this relationship began and then later ended?
We was on and off for 2 years because he cheated on me every other day. I find out about more than 100 girls, I promise you. I went back and forth with so many girls, and it wasn't her house.
Oh, these mothers wouldn't even let us hear what really happened. Ms. Brown was trying to say Mr. Lang would sleep with any Tom, Dick, and Harry he could find because he is someone who has about 50 to 100 women lurking around, and Ms. Lang is still there defending her son? Oh, Lord!
I don't know if the kids are in a relationship or if the mothers are.
Word.
Oh, no. Because you are in the middle of the relationship.
No, I stayed out of the relationship. I never got in it because
she was always in it.
I was hoping that they would work it out.
Again and again, we have to deal with Ms. Lang and Ms. Brown trading words while their children, who are the parents of the child in question, are looking lost. Ms. Brown finally gets a chance to speak, and she reveals to the court that Mr. Lang even begged her to keep the baby. Okay, Mr. Lang doesn't seem to have any problem with the child, but his mother?
Mr. Lang, when you found out she was pregnant, you were happy about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any doubts at that time?
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubt?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh, so
Leaving her
she
voicemail
informs
thing.
you that she's having a baby and you're the father and you are happy about it?
Yes.
So Mr. Dixon may be the biological father of the baby. We can't just believe Ms. Brown's words that she didn't sleep with Mr. Dixon, and he was just making things up. Mr. Lang is saying he always saw them together. That would count for something if we want to judge this right. Argument in the kitchen? Let's know more.
Did or did not sleep with this best friend?
I did not.
Okay.
And I am very sure that this is his baby, and we spoke about it. I haven't slept together with no one else. And exactly that time is around the exact time I got pregnant.
You say that's your window of conception?
Yes, that was in middle August, into August.
And so now the baby's born?
Yes.
Mr. Lang was there when the baby was born?
Yes, he was there the whole labor and delivery.
You signed the birth certificate?
Yes, he did.
Maybe we can understand where Ms. Lang's anger is coming from. She supported the idea of her son having a baby till she realized the baby may not belong to her son. However, Ms. Brown's mother says Ms. Lang wasn't being supportive and that she just wanted to check the features of the baby. Dicey.
You're there, you cut the umbilical cord, you signed the birth certificate. When you looked at this baby, did you think the baby was yours?
He thought it was his, and I interject right there. He thought it was his. She looked like him, to me too, right there. I said, oh, look at your baby, woo, 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 and all that. And then he pulled the hat off. He said, Mama, what's up with this hairline?
So the hairline caused the doubts too. Okay, maybe we are getting a clearer picture of this heated atmosphere. Miss Lang doesn't want anyone dumping a baby that isn't for her son on him. That's a good move as a mother, but her way of doing it isn't right anyway.
Ms. Brown, now your mother said she thought she was only there to figure out if the baby looked like them or not.
I don't really care about his mother. It's about me and him.
Look.
Really? Ms. Lang was butting in her son's relationship through Facebook? No way. That's clearly overstepping her boundaries. We get it. Ms. Lang is the good mother who would protect her son, but being in his relationship with him is off limits, ma'am.
I want to come to you because I want to hear your side of this.
Okay.
Are you on Facebook with the kids arguing?
No.
Yes.
She's going back 2 years ago, Your Honor.
So you did it?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, but you just lied to the judge and say you didn't do it.
Girl, knock that off. But anyway, that maybe 2 years ago, when they first got started together.
Mr. Lang says his mother was just stating her opinions. On Facebook comments, this is heading nowhere. The sooner we get this over with, the better for everyone, because mother and son won't stop protecting each other even when they are wrong.
Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
Ma'am, we're not going to have that kind of language in this courtroom.
That's a lie. That is a lie. I swear that's a lie.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Baby. Oh.
The DNA doesn't lie.
A 20-year-old is the child in this case. Ms. Allen, who is Ms. Baylor's mother, is ready to fight tooth and nail to make Mr. Childs and his wife accept that he is the biological father of Ms. Baylor. And don't forget, this is happening after 20 years.
Miss Allen, you say that after a brief affair with Mr. Childs, you discovered you were pregnant with your daughter, Ms. Baylor. You say Mr. Childs acknowledged paternity until his wife convinced him otherwise. You intend to prove that Mr. Childs is, in fact, your daughter's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
His petty wife? We really need to know what's going on here. Ms. Allen believes Mr. Childs' wife has been keeping him away from seeing his daughter, but Mr. Childs doesn't agree with that. Mr. Childs believed there were many guys and Allen was having sexual relations with at the time of conception, and her bringing up a DNA test after 2 decades is really suspicious.
How did you all even get together?
She was friends with cousins of mine, and we got together like that. We ended up messing around or whatever. Nothing serious.
So you all get together, you have mutual friends, you start having sex.
Well,
obviously unprotected.
It started like this. We had the friend that got killed. And me and him, I would call and check on him and things like that. Then one day, I just came through after a football game and he wanted to ride with me.
That's a long list of possibilities right there, Ms. Allen. Was Ms. Allen controlling a team? And for the fact that Mr. Childs requested for a DNA test and Ms. Allen went MIA, that's another suspicious thing. It seems Ms. Allen knows Mr. Childs is doing well for himself now, and she just wants to be involved through her 20-year-old daughter. That's the picture being painted right now.
If you say he might be the father, why are you in court today saying that he is the father?
Because I was messing with him first. How do you know? What you mean, how do I know that? I had to go through the drama with Miss Johnson. Up and down the road, she following me.
How can she remember me chasing her up and down the street, but she can't remember who fathered her child?
Mr. Childs' wife isn't ready to allow Ms. Allen get a chance into her family. There are other potential fathers who may be the biological father of Ms. Baylor, so maybe it's just Mr. Child's turn. If he's the father, the continuous search will be over, and if he's not, he will be striked out from the long list.
Ms. Baylor, were you always told Mr. Childs was your biological father?
To be honest, Your Honor, I was about 14 when I first found out my sister's dad wasn't my dad. Just hearing rumors, just going over my grandmother's house in Bowling Green. And that's where basically he is from. And everybody would come to me like, you're my cousin, TJ's your dad. I'm like, I don't know who TJ is. Who is TJ?
A 14-year-old child trying to find her father is not fair, and the person who gets to be blamed for this is the mother. Ms. Allen was the one who was messing around with different men, and now the innocent Ms. Baylor has to do the job of investigating the men she messed around with. Great job, Mr. Childs didn't deny Ms. Baylor.
She knew. I told her, sit down and told her the whole story.
Yeah, she told me after. She didn't tell me before, but she told me after the fact when my stepdad did say that.
Okay.
No, she sat down and talked to me when I brought it to her attention like, I don't know what's going on, I'm confused.
I know,
I'm confused too.
I know, and that's why I'm trying to understand this, because at the end of the day, you have a right to understand
exactly
what happened.
You wouldn't blame a 9-year-old that she doesn't remember who she talked with at that age. The little girl was still growing up. She wasn't even a teenager yet. Ms. Allen has some real explanation to do other than just telling stories.
And let me ask you this, Mr. Childs. It seems as if you were making earnest attempts to find out. Is it that you still had a question in your mind, so you were just trying to see it through?
I just wanted to see it through, Your Honor. I'm saying like this, if it was such a struggle for her to raise her by herself, and you know where I am, if I'm such a bad person, go get child support.
Okay, so Ms. Allen's reason for not pursuing child support is because she doesn't need the drama and she's a strong, independent black woman. Well, that's a good title to it, but every child deserves to know their father. Putting Ms. Baylor in this type of position isn't fair to her because she wouldn't even be able to point to her father outside because she doesn't know him.
So, Ms. Allen, you never in the court system pursued a DNA test, nothing?
No.
All right?
Your Honor, she just made me feel like she wanted me to be the father by name, so if someone asked her who Shy's father was, she could say me. You know, Your Honor, I'm not being funny or anything, but okay, I was a good catch. I'm not gonna lie, I was a good catch.
Oh! Mr. Childs wasn't cool with Ms. Allen running his name through the mud. Okay. But interestingly, just as Mr. Childs pointed out, Ms. Allen seemed to be more concerned about the fact that Mr. Childs had other women than trying to figure out who her baby daddy is.
Do you have any additional doubt?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
do?
ma'am.
Okay.
I have some evidence right here, Your Honor.
Let me see the evidence, Jerome.
Yeah.
Will you describe what this evidence is, sir?
My first evidence is with my children. All my children have 6 fingers, Your Honor. Both of my kids are very tall and look just like me. All my kids look just like me. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, that doesn't mean she's not my child. It's just that I feel I have strong genes.
A 6th finger? That's interesting. These hereditary traits sometimes have a lot to do with a child, and sometimes they just don't pop up like parents expect them to. So the best way for Mr. Childs and Ms. Allen to get this over with is to know the DNA test result once and for all.
Mr. Childs, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Miss Baylor.
It's okay, Your Honor. You know, at the same time.
It's okay, honey. It's okay.
Mr. Levant is here in court with his girlfriend to prove Ms. Allen's 6-month-old daughter is his, as they are certain Ms. Allen is just trying to push the responsibility of being the biological father of the baby on him. Ms. Allen, beloved, she's the mother of the child, so she knows better than anyone.
Ms. Allen, you are in court today claiming the defendant, Mr. Levant, is denying your 6-month-old daughter, Layla, only because he's desperate to try to keep your affair with him a secret. You're here to expose that secret and prove paternity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Levant, you and your girlfriend say you know you are not the biological father of the child in question.
Mrs. Allen's point seemed to be valid even though the envelope hasn't been opened. Seeing how Mr. Levant's girlfriend is dropping comments about the baby's complexion and other features is quite evident that she wouldn't give Mr. Levant the chance to even reconsider if the baby is his.
Levant, are you denying this child because you're trying to keep your relationship with your girlfriend?
No.
No. So you have a family together, you and your girlfriend?
Yes.
So there's a lot at stake here. You have children?
Yes, we do.
How many?
3.
You have 3 children?
Yes.
How did you end up getting into a sexual relationship with Ms. Allen?
Broke up for a minute and Mr. Levant already laid with another woman? That's nasty. Couple give each other space to sort things out, not lay with person. Ms. Levant standing beside her man talking about breaking up a happy family. Someone tell that woman that her man was the one trying to break up the supposed happy family.
No, did you know Mr. Levant had a girlfriend and 3 children when you were sleeping with him?
No.
Yes, you did.
Was it just a one-night stand?
No, it wasn't.
You commented on my firstborn child.
Like I said, we was together 2010.
Y'all never was together.
No, yes, we was.
Over the phone?
Okay, first off, okay, well, I wasn't talking to you.
These women won't stop bickering at one another. That's the man at fault in the middle, but okay. Miss Lanier is doing the most of the talking, like she was even right there when Ms. Allen and Mr. Levant got undressed and enjoyed themselves. Miss Lanier needs to calm down.
You met this woman and you were having a phone conversation, a phone relationship for a year.
Yeah.
And then you say that culminated into a one-night stand.
We was never in a relationship. We was talking as friends.
No,
that's
right, but at
it.
some point you had sex. How did you end up having sex?
In
2015.
In 2015, what happened? You were in long distance.
A long-distance phone relationship turned into a one-night stand, and now we have a problem on our hands. Ms. Lanier, there was no happy relationship because how could there be a happy relationship? And a long-distance relationship with another woman was going on for about a year. Ms. Lanier has to wake up from her sleep.
Saying that Ms. Allen was intimate with another man somewhere during this timeline.
Yes.
Can you tell the court where?
In the park.
It was not at the park.
I mean, at what?
It was not at the park.
You slept with Mr. Mitchell in the park.
Like I said, it was not at the park. So
I did not mean a location. I meant where within the timeline.
Oops, there's a Mr. Mitchell in the middle of all of these. Now it gets more complicated. Sleeping with 2 different men during the time of conception can make things confusing. However, Ms. Allen says she and Mr. Mitchell didn't get to the end of the line while she did get to the end of the line with Mr. Levant. Okay.
Ms. Lanier.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you find out your boyfriend may have gotten another woman pregnant?
He actually told me February 3rd.
Yeah,
when she was 3 months pregnant.
I was 2 months.
What did he
finally
say?
Admitted it to me after me and her had spoke over the phone, February 3rd.
How did you speak to her over the phone?
She called me.
And said what?
Ms. Lanier wouldn't be able to face Ms. Allen if the child truly belongs to her boyfriend. Hence the reason the relationship will crumble. Maybe that's the reason Ms. Lanier would never believe in 1,000 years that her man willingly messed around with Ms. Allen.
Allen, has Mr. Levant ever said, you know, I am this child's father? Did he admit it to you? He did.
Through the text message.
And why are you so upset now?
Because he denied my child. He needs to stand up for a plight to be her daddy. I grew up with no daddy, so I know how to feel. So I want my daughter to have her daddy with her. It's her life out.
Yeah, right. Ms. Lanier would blame everyone except the man that cheated. That's not right. The child deserves to have a father, and that's why Ms. Allen is here. But we still need to find out who the real daddy is. Mr. Levant or Mr. Mitchell, who allegedly didn't get to finish what he had started?
Okay, so what is the motive here? Now, Ms. Lanier, you say she's trying to break you all up, she's been stalking you, and I mean this with all due respect. Why would she be so obsessed over you, Mr. Levant? Mr. Mitchell, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're in court today talking about the paternity of beautiful baby Layla. I would like to know first and foremost, did you have a sexual relationship with...
Maybe Ms. Allen really wasn't lying that Mr. Mitchell didn't get to finish. That man didn't even doubt his answer for a second. Ms. Lanier and Mr. Levant should just hold hands and get ready to hear the DNA results because this looks like they are trying to get rid of Ms. Allen and her daughter, and Mr. Levant is even being honest. The result, please.
Mr. Levant, you are not the father.
Yes!
What?
Yes.
Ms. Allen?
He's the only man I slept with though.
Unfortunately, Ms. Allen, given this DNA evidence, that cannot be the truth.
A bishop fathering a child with a woman 28 years younger than him doesn't sound as ridiculous as both of them not knowing who the actual father is. Ms. Webster thinks there's another potential father, Mr. Miles Jones. So here we are trying to figure out if the baby is for a man of God or Mr. Miles Jones.
Mr. House, you're a church pastor and bishop who may have fathered a child with a woman who's 28 years younger than you. First, explain to the court, how did this all start between you and Ms. Webster?
It started with me leaving an assignment that I had in Jacksonville, moving to Buffalo, New York, to take on a new assignment as a pastor. I'm a bishop, but I'm also a traveling pastor.
Okay, Bishop, we get a point. Every man has manly needs, but isn't it supposed to be with your wife or girlfriend or something? Having connection and thinking she was hot just seemed weird from Mr. House, given his nature of job, but hey, every man has manly needs. Hallelujah.
Tell us a little bit about the relationship as you saw it.
It was supposed to have been like a Bible study thing. It was like more, it led on to sexual instead.
I didn't meet her at a church. I met her at a fast food joint, and we
met at church.
Looked at each other, and quickly she became a hoot.
A what? Bishop House felt she was a whore and went through with fulfilling his manly needs with that type of woman? Oh, wait. What was that about Ms. Webster saying a Bible study turned into a sexual relationship? This case is a weird one. From the bishop acting all naughty to Ms. Webster being confused about her baby daddy.
So you're saying you met her at a fast food place. She's saying you all were at church, but regardless, you decided to be in a sexual relationship. Was it more than a sexual relationship?
No,
or
it was just a hookup.
It was just a hookup.
It was a booty call.
And you agreed with that it was just...
Not only with me, with 3 other people
It
as
was
well.
just a sexual relationship.
Bishop House really needs to chill. Even if it was a booty call or hookup as he said, why are we hearing it from Bishop House's mouth? Maybe it's time to hear another side of this story. Mr. Miles Jones is an ex-boyfriend, and he may also be the potential father of the baby.
Andre Miles Jones.
Mr. Miles Jones. All right, we are here with Ms. Webster, and of course we are discussing the paternity as it relates to little Emilion. And so, Ms. Webster, you seem like you're the only person in the know.
But there's some differences, Your Honor, when I think that she was with me and when she's with him. I think she's with me for money.
Well, how do you think that one? You never even gave me a penny.
Because things could be, the things that I could do.
Okay, so both men didn't know about each other. Guess Ms. Webster knew how to make secret relationships work. Bishop House says Ms. Webster was with him for his money, but that woman is denying that Bishop House spoiled her financially. Now we don't know who to believe. Oh well.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was trying to contact Mr. House. Phone was disconnected. First one, I never knew he left town. And then I didn't even get in contact to tell him until after I had my baby, which he denied her to the Phyllis. He denied her. He wanted a DNA test. He didn't want nothing to do with my baby.
That's not true.
And for his money to be on full when I asked him for diapers and everything, where was that?
Bishop House talking about his fat account balance but wouldn't even drop money for the baby's diapers? Somebody remove that man from his position in church. Mr. Miles has to step up to be the man while the Bishop House preferred being on the sidelines of things.
Left town?
No, in fact, I hung around for several weeks, even after my assignment ended.
So the point is you left the window open. If she really wanted to reach you, she'd be able to find you.
She would be. I had no idea at all whatsoever. She never told me she was pregnant.
When he was in town, I didn't even know I was pregnant.
Can we get a break? Bishop House said he didn't know about the pregnancy. Ms. Webster says he knew about it. But Bishop Webster should have factored in that the woman he was knocking up raw could end up pregnant one time. That's not rocket science, but maybe Bishop House just knows about the Bible.
Jones, I want to figure out what was happening with you at this time. So you find out she's pregnant.
Right.
How?
I came over on a regular hookup to go meet up with her. We was gonna go out, do what we normally do. And then she said to me, I'm pregnant. I said, really? I said, how long? She was like, I'm about 5 to 6 months. I said, so you trying to tell me that it's mine? She said,
5 to 6 months before you told him?
Well, I was 4 to 5
I didn't know at all.
Seems Bishop House and Ms. Webster are a good match, because the only decent person in this scenario is Mr. Miles. Ms. Webster has been cooking up lies, and according to Bishop House, that's why he doubts the baby's paternity, but Bishop don't look innocent either.
Exactly.
Nothing listed under the name of father.
Thank you.
But you made her last name Miles Jones.
That's my last name.
Yes, thank you very much. That's his last name.
I was there ever since she told me that she was pregnant when she was 6 months. I was there. I made sure she ate good. I made sure she needed, if she needed money for anything.
Again, Mr. Miles doesn't deserve to be in this situation. Also, Bishop House got that part about Ms. Webster just having fun with multiple guys, right? Additionally, Ms. Webster is right that baby Emilion needs a father, even though she's the one to blame for the confusion. Let's rip the envelope open and know what's inside.
Mr. Miles Jones, you are not her father.
In my eyes, that's still my daughter.
Mr. House, it has been determined by this court that you are not her father.
Ms. Hendricks' family have put her in trouble, as talking to them has led to making her man, Mr. Pacheco, doubt the paternity of their baby. Mr. Pacheco will completely end his relationship with Ms. Hendricks if the DNA test result doesn't come out positive for Mr. Pacheco. Let's get into this.
Ms. Hendricks, you were once in a committed relationship with the defendant, Mr. Pacheco. Now you say the doubts about your 6-month-old son Isaiah's paternity. Please share with the court how this all unraveled for you and Mr. Pacheco.
Well, he's listening to rumors that an ex-boyfriend is possibly the father of our son.
Ms. Hendricks' brother seemed to be the thorn in her flesh as it stands. Why will her brother be on her supposed baby daddy's side? The HT part needs to be understood. Ms. Hendricks' brother is sitting there looking like he's the weapon fashion against his sister, and he'd own up to it till the very end.
For the ex situation, I heard her over talking on the phone with a family member. The family member was kept telling her, your ex wants me to tell you to tell the baby that, I love him, that I want to be there for him. Before I go to jail, please keep in contact with me, and all that type of things. And ways I feel heartbroken. And then I was like, that's what started giving me more doubts.
Another family member? Ms. Hendricks needs to restructure her family tree before things gets out of hand. Oh, wait. Things already got out of hand because they are already in paternity court trying to figure out who the real baby daddy is. But hey, why has Ms. Hendricks' baby been subjected to having another biological father if Hendricks had not done something out of line? We need to dig deeper.
There was a rumor when I was 7 months pregnant. That's when it came from my own brother. And then we got past that. Like, he left me when I was 7 months pregnant. The whole pregnancy, the rest of my pregnancy, I was by myself on.
Okay, so then why?
When I let him be in the delivery room, he wanted to be in the delivery room. He came to the hospital with me. I didn't see him since I was 7 months into
the mailman's baby? Oh, common. Ms. Hendricks' family are the real problem here. And they are confusing the judge about who the biological father really is. We need to get to the part where no family said or whispered anything really fast.
That's my son. I love him. I can't wait to see him. When I get out of jail, I want to just keep in contact with you. That's what really hurt me the most. Why you want to be with somebody that's in jail all the time? What future do?
And he's talking about the ex that I haven't seen since I got with him. The summer me and him got together is when I cut it off with the ex. I haven't seen him since then. I was talking to a close family member on the phone, on speakerphone, because I was doing the dishes. I was busy. So
this story is as confusing as it sounds. A family member, the brother, the mother? Judge Lauren's patience is wearing out, and best believe everyone seated in the courtroom are feeling the same way. Ms. Hendricks' family tree probably just don't prefer Mr. Pacheco as the baby daddy. That can be the only explanation for them to be circulating different rumors about the paternity of the baby.
Her mother was the one that gave the dude the number, her ex, the number to get in contact back and forth, all about the baby situation. For me, it really bothered me and it hurted me, you know what I'm saying? Because at one point, I felt like her mother was like a mother to me. And how she gonna come and, stab me in the back
she did not mean no harm.
You don't understand how I really feel though.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Mr. Pacheco just hit the nail on the head. Ms. Hendricks' mother indeed stabbed him in the back, and that affirms the part that they don't want Mr. Pacheco as Isaiah's father. And what's with the disagreement at the hospital leading to Ms. Hendricks saying Mr. Pacheco may not be the daddy? It's about to get messy in there.
We hear women say in this courtroom all the time, when you get angry and you tell a man that this isn't their child, you can't unring that bell. You say your intention the day you were in the hospital was to sign that birth certificate. Yes. What happened that prevented you?
These two bringing the continuation of the hospital disagreement into Judge Lauren's court. That's not happening. However, just as the judge mentioned, telling a man he may not be the daddy of a child is a type of statement that will most likely be stuck in his head for a long time, except he gets a DNA assurance. Ms. Hendricks messed up with that one.
Mr. Hendricks, okay? You are Ms. Hendricks'
his brother,
and yet you're Mr. Pacheco's witness.
And also Mrs. Ferrone's fiance. It was together.
No, it was not. Wrong. It was totally different time.
So wrong.
And even if it wasn't, you're my brother. Like, even if I not saying anything, but why would you
say he was there in the morning, you mean?
This is ridiculous. Having your brothers testify against you is unbelievable, but maybe Mr. Hendricks is just trying to stop Mr. Pacheco from fathering another man's child. However, Someone needs to tell Ms. Hendricks that even her father would look at her differently if there are rumors surrounding her paternity status.
Your Honor, look, at the point, what my son is going through right now, I go through that with my dad. Because my dad is, denying me and my older sister. I was never raised with a mom or a dad. The one that raised me all my life was my grandmother. She gave me everything.
My brother he has green eyes. I mean, I don't know.
So when you look at this beautiful little boy, you just don't see yourself, and it makes you nervous. It makes you concerned. It makes you fearful.
That's touching Mr. Pacheco. Going back and forth on this won't help. Ms. Hendricks' family already stirred the pot of trouble. The best thing to do right now is to get the envelope to know if Ms. Hendricks' family were right all along or otherwise.
Mr. Pacheco, you are his father.
That's good. My nephew has a father. That's good. That's good.
I'm sorry for everything I put you through.
I'm happy for all of you.
Thank you.
And I say that only to point out that secrets, lies, and a lack of trust, it can permeate the fabric of any relationship.
Ms. Chappelle wants Mr. Todd to accept that he's the biological father of baby Waleesha, but she knows his woman, Ms. Cullens, wouldn't let him. However, Mr. Todd says he knows tonsure, he's not the father of the baby, and Ms. Chappelle is just trying to force her way back into his life.
You say the defendant, Mr. Todd, is without a doubt your daughter Waleesha's biological father. You say the only reason he denies her is because his fiancée, Ms. Cullens. Chappelle, why do you feel you're owed $2,475 for these expenses?
Because I had a job, Your Honor, and he was babysitting the baby for me.
So both parties are owing each other money. Mr. Todd is owing because Ms. Chappelle couldn't keep up with the babysitting fees, and she had to quit her paying job, while Ms. Chappelle is owing because she destroyed a part of Ms. Todd's vehicle. Fair.
I never watched her baby, Your Honor. I don't even know when she had a job. I ain't never saw her with no uniform.
And you've never watched Waleesha?
I never watched Waleesha.
Your Honor, he has...
I don't even have a place to stay myself, so
at his cousin's house, at Shawarma house. He has dropped me off at Waleesha.
Back it up a little bit. Mr. Todd does not even have his own place, and Ms. Chappelle is making things up about him watching the baby, and two women are in the courtroom fighting over that man?
Just a minute, you two were in a sexual relationship, right?
Yes. It wasn't
It wasn't a relationship.
No.
You were just having sex.
Just having sex.
If you were having sex and she got pregnant, were you using protection every time?
No. The time when we met, I was pregnant.
But
we never used.
When we met, she was pregnant.
She was pregnant when they met, and they were still having unprotected sex with the pregnancy? And these are the parents the baby is supposed to have? This whole case is straight out from a fictional type of story. This can't be for real. However, it's real, and we need to know the father of this baby.
That Waleesha is your child.
Because at the time, she was messing around with other guys, and by me being young and just doing crazy stuff, I go and mess with her at the same time too, so she was messing with men all at one time. But this one never my girl. I was in a relationship with someone at that time.
Mr. Todd claims he had a main girl, but was just messing around with Ms. Chappelle. But he's here in paternity court today with another woman that's his woman now. If a clown is needed, Mr. Todd would fit right in.
That you were having sex with other people in addition to Mr. Todd during the window of conception?
No, Your Honor.
She a liar.
She was not even in the picture, Your Honor, so she has nothing to do with this.
We was together here.
2011, I was pregnant with someone else, baby. Our baby was already here when they met, Your Honor.
All right.
Our babies were here before she came in the picture.
All right.
Oh, thought as much. Mr. Todd surely wouldn't be able to afford a car. He's riding in his girl's car, and another woman he's being with, Ms. Chappelle, bought him a phone and wants to have it back. What exactly was he even telling these women? He must know how to work his charm for real.
Did you bust the windows out her car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You did?
Because she came at me and we had an altercation. She came
It's
all
about
the way
Walter.
from Fort.
This emotion, was she out the windows?
Yes,
out?
ma'am, I did because that was self-defense.
All right. So self-defense.
Yes, ma'am.
What she do?
She's mad that we're together. That's why she can't.
I care less about them being together. Your Honor, what we're here for is the DNA.
This is as confusing as it sounds. These women are delusional because that man right there may still have another woman waiting for him to be done with that court session. Busting car windows and having altercations for Mr. Todd may just be unnecessary.
Want to understand what it is you know about the situation. Ms. Chappelle says you don't know anything because you weren't even involved in this entire time. The baby was already born. So what exactly do you know about it?
When I first met Miss Chappelle, we let her move in with me and Mr. Todd. We let her move in.
Wait a minute. You let Miss Chappelle move into
the house with you two?
Yes, because where she was living at.
Ms. Cullens is nice, but it was crystal clear. Mr. Todd didn't want to have anything to do with the baby and her mother. Ms. Chappelle thinks what Ms. Cullens is saying is funny, but it doesn't even sound funny, to be honest.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order. Ms. Chappelle, you have a witness. I want to hear from her. Ms. Matthews, what do you have to add to this?
My daughter was carrying her second child when she started messing with Mr. Todd, Your Honor. She was on her second child. She started having a relationship with him while she was carrying someone else's baby. After she delivered that other baby.
The baby looks like Mr. Todd's brother? So was Ms. Chappelle fooling around with Mr. Todd's brother too? Well, let's see who the biological father of the baby is.
Mr. Todd, you are not the father. And you're smiling, Ms. Chappelle?
Yes, because at the end of the day, this is his child. What they did, they say, I ain't having sex with no one else you want. I know this is the only man I was messing with at the time.
Yep, I know it.
You could say these guys were high school sweethearts, but all that sweetness went down the drain when Mr. Brennan refused to admit to being the father of his ex-girlfriend's child. Ms. Jackson, who happens to be the ex-girlfriend, appears in court with her mom, hoping to prove that Mr. Brennan is the father of her child. It all began like this.
Dad. Ms. Jackson, you and your mother opened your case because your childhood sweetheart has now become your adulthood nightmare. You say the defendant and his meddling mother are now denying your daughter, Micaiah. You say you need help because your daughter has cerebral palsy.
Ms. Jackson's mother is definitely not a fan of Mr. Brennan. The way she said that nothing would have made you think she was the ex in this situation. Well, Ms. Jackson tells the judge that Mr. Brennan hasn't done anything for her child, and she wishes that things would go back to how they were.
In the beginning, yes, I was always there, and I actually got kicked out of their house. That's why I wasn't there, and they don't let me see her. I've asked for a paternity test before. Oh my God. I've even got messages of that, but it's okay.
Crazy.
I've asked for a paternity test more than once. Haley's told me no, and they tell us we'll never see the baby again. I mean...
Uh-oh. Looks like a big fight is about to break out between Ms. Jackson's mom and Mr. Brennan. Judge Lauren better call for some security. Anyway, Mr. Brennan tells the judge that Ms. Jackson and her mom never allowed him to visit the baby, and when he asked for a test, she never agreed to it.
So I found out I was pregnant. We started talking about everything, and he was there. We hung out all the time. We walked together almost every day whenever it came down to getting ready to have a child. When my water broke, I woke him up, and he immediately jumped up and took me to the hospital.
During your pregnancy or at the birth, did he ever question paternity?
Now the skeletons in the cupboard are starting to pop out. You could guess there was something off about the story Ms. Jackson told. Mr. Brannan's mom tells the judge that Ms. Jackson disappeared for 3 weeks, and she came back saying she is pregnant.
Through our whole relationship, I was cheated on. I kept getting cheated on, so I didn't back in my head.
And you cheated on me all the time.
So you always had
your
this
mom's
doubt.
house.
I'm not the one that gets
and
pregnant.
took pictures of it and put it on Facebook and showed everybody that you were cheating on me the whole time.
I'm not the one that got pregnant.
That's the word for real. This relationship is a total fiasco. One would honestly wonder how they even got along from the very beginning. Mr. Brannan tells the judge Lauren that throughout the relationship, he was cheated on. Ms. Jackson claps back and says that he cheated and even posted it on Facebook.
Brennan had doubt.
Last October.
Tell me what happened.
I texted his mom and said, do you want to see little Precious for Halloween? I was gonna stop over and let her see her. Nope, it wasn't her grandkid, and I got evidence right here.
I'd like to see that evidence, sweets. So you know who the daddy is? And Ms. Winters, you respond, Haley knows.
Wow. Even the court can't believe what they just read from the text. Apparently, there's another man who looks like Mr. Brannan, and Mr. Brannan's mom even confirms in the text that the other man is the father of the child.
This gentleman, he's been away for a while, and he kept calling me every week. He's friends with Johnny. I get a phone call after about a year talking to him, and he goes, Mama, Chris, he goes, I need to tell you something. I said, what, honey? Just like a son, just like a son. He goes, Haley told me.
And there goes another truth bomb in the courtroom. Mr. Brannan's mom tells the judge that she has known the other guy for quite some time, and he confessed to her that Ms. Jackson told him that he was the father of her child and not Mr. Brannan.
Typically.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go there.
Okay, well, smooth it out and give me the general details about the fact
he slept with her before, during, and after we was together. Who knows when they actually slept together? It was before, during, and after. I don't know if it was while, you know.
And when you have the false
at the
information,
same time, I don't know. Well, I don't see why he would lie to me, though.
The drama in this case just keeps coming. I mean, did these guys ever love each other? It's really hard to believe that they did. Anyway, Mr. Brannon says he knows for a fact that Ms. Jackson and the other guy were messing around, and that's why he became friends with the guy to start with.
Please.
So I heard as you were expressing yourself, you said when you look at her, she looks like you.
She looks exactly
and
like
then
me.
you feel like she also looks like the other guy.
He looks just like me. Me and him look like twins, though.
Why are you in tears, Ms. Jackson? What are you feeling?
I just know who my baby's dad is, and it just sucks that we couldn't have had it.
Seems like Ms. Jackson is very upset about the situation. She tells the judge that she knows for certain that Mr. Brannon is her father's child, and she is irritated that they have to be in court to prove that. Mr. Brannon, on the other hand, says that the baby looks like him and the other guy.
Your granddaughter,
he tells the truth.
You don't want to see your granddaughter because of what someone else
Oh,
said.
I'm going to see her, believe that.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your mother.
Believe
you
that.
want to meddle in any other time.
You're lucky.
Oh, I'm
Sorry,
lucky?
Your Honor.
Oh, yeah.
I've had to
I
deal
am
with
lucky.
this
It's a very,
for
because I
since
get
they
to
were
wake up every
14
day and
years.
see her.
It is a very
I am
intense.
lucky.
It is a
Why would we
very
wanna listen
intense
to that?
situation.
Judge Lauren could not have said it better. This fight is honestly between Ms. Jackson's mother and Mr. Brannon's mother. Look at them go at each other like they are in a boxing ring. If Mr. Jackson and Ms. Brannon get married, it is going to be a fiasco between their mothers.
Ms. Jackson, have you prepared yourself either way, or you still maintain you know for certain Mr. Brennan is Micaiah's biological father?
I'm certain.
Mr. Brennan, have you prepared yourself either way?
Yes, ma'am, I have. If she's mine, I'm coming for her. She's got a house, she's got her own room, got everything she needs in Tennessee.
Well, Ms. Jackson sticks to her story and says that she is sure that Mr. Brannon is the father of her child. Mr. Brannon just wants to know if he is the dad or not. Well, let's see what the results have to say about all of this.
Mr. Brennan, you are the father.
Thank God. And I thought that, but when your friend comes to you and tells you that she says you're not, I mean, you can only wonder. And then when you ask her and she blocks you.
You had the doubt, but now that doubt is done.
This has to be the most ridiculous case to ever exist in paternity court. In this case, there were two guys and a lady who all claimed that the defendant, Mr. Medley Sr., was their biological father. This was how the entire case began in the courtroom.
3 different adults with 2 different mothers brought the same defendant to court today in an effort to prove paternity. Mr. Heron and Mr. Medley, you are here to prove to Mr. Medley Sr. to stop denying you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, you grew up without a father for 26 years and claim.
Well, the judge began by asking the two guys how their lives have been without having a father figure in them. The first guy, Mr. Heron, took the floor by telling the judge that it affected him in ways he could not imagine. He wanted to know why Mr. Medley Sr. decided to be absent from his life.
It affected me in life. Want to know why he wasn't in my life? Why? As a junior, why would you sign my birth certificate if you deny me as your child?
So, Mr. Medley Sr., you submitted a whole list of doubts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that explains why he doesn't believe the kids are his. Mr. Medley Sr. told the judge that when he found out Mr. Heron's mother was pregnant, he decided to marry her even though he had doubts about the pregnancy.
Do the right thing, make her an honorable woman.
So, basically, you married her even though you had doubts.
Yes,
And then you also claim you heard from another band member.
yes. I went to audition for a band.
Yes.
The trumpet player was acting kind of strange, like he didn't want me, and I knew everything went well.
Wow, that's proof enough to make him doubt the paternity even more. Moving on, the boys went on to tell the judge that Mr. Medley Sr.'s mother always treated them like they were her grandchildren. Even with all the denying that Mr. Medley Sr. was doing, she told them that he was their father.
No matter what your daddy say, you guys are always gonna be my grandkids. And that hurts me so much to hear this man sit here in this courtroom and lie to you like that. Look at me. Do I not look like you? Honestly. Spitting image, 100%. And you gonna sit up here and say that I'm not your son?
I don't know.
How you not know, man? You looking at yourself right here.
Not the way I see.
One thing is for sure, though. These kids are very upset with Mr. Medley Sr. They felt betrayed that he did not want to be in their lives. Seeing that the kids were hurt, the judge decided to reveal the results from the DNA test regarding the two boys. This was her verdict.
In the case of Heron Medley v. Medley, pertaining to whether Victor Medley Sr. is the biological father of Maurice Heron, it has been determined by this court, you are the father. Moving on.
Well, Mr. Medley Sr. can't deny the boys any longer. They are both his kids. Moving on. Judge Lauren turned to the lady, Ms. Johnson, who also felt Mr. Medley Sr. was her father, and asked her how her childhood without a father was. This was her response.
I grew up in and out of foster care, but I had asked my mom, one day I was looking in my mirror when I was a teenager and I didn't look like her anymore. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm looking at. The stranger that I'm looking at in the mirror, I need to know. So I was like, Mom, this is enough. I just need to know what's the name of my dad. So she told me his name was Victor Medley.
That has to be heartbreaking for Ms. Johnson. Hearing that shocking revelation from her mom, Ms. Johnson decided to go on a haunt to find out who Mr. Medley Sr. was. She found him on Facebook and decided to send him a message informing him of what her mother told her.
You know, I had a conversation with my mom, and my mom told me that you are my dad. He said, oh, really? Well, first I told him my mom's name, and I asked him, did he know her? He said yes. When I told him that he was my dad, he was like, oh, really? Oh, my daughter, can you please send me your number and I'll give you a call? He was happy. So this was the first time
Could Mr. Medley Sr. be trying to change his story? Because it sure looks like he has a new story to tell. After Ms. Johnson was done giving her statement, Mr. Medley Sr. told the judge that she was the one who requested to get a DNA test done, and he had never denied the fact that she was his daughter.
But
Get to the point.
Child support
Get to the point.
Child support took the check. I didn't have the money, so I didn't have it, and I'm not rich. And then she told me that she had been lied to before. Everybody lies. Take her off, lose her
Your
number,
Honor,
take her off my Facebook, take the kids off Facebook.
That's not how I remember it. That's
how I remember.
No,
How do you remember it, ma'am?
I'm gonna tell you how it went. It went like this. I asked you.
Ms. Johnson is pissed, all right. Anyway, after going back and forth with each other, Judge Lauren decided it was time to reveal the results and determine if Ms. Johnson was really Mr. Medley Sr.'s daughter.
Mr. Medley Sr., you are not her father.
Okay.
Mr. Medley, what are you feeling now?
I don't know. I thought she was my daughter.
Ms. Johnson, if you didn't know before.
This has to be the most unbelievable court case on paternity court. Ms. Galloway got pregnant when she was just 14 and is in court to prove that Mr. Harris is the father of her child. Mr. Harris, on the other hand, became a father at the age of 12. Oh, you heard that right. Well, here is how the case started.
First child at 14 years old. And even with that young start, you maintain that all your children know and have been accepted by their fathers until now.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Harris is the father of your 9-month-old twins, Shekinah and Malachi Galloway.
Now, that is just hilarious. I'm with the judge on this one. These guys started having kids at very young ages. I mean, who decides to have a child at 12? Where were their parents? Well, Mr. Harris says that they were never really in a relationship, and it was more of a one-night stand.
I dropped his kids off, and Mr. Harris here helped me to the door with my groceries. And he said, so when you gonna let me in the house? I said, what you talking about? He said, when you gonna let me come over? I said, the only time you're gonna come over is if we're having a Bible study. Okay, so, as time goes by, I do occasionally see him in the churches playing or whatever, so, I do start conversating with him. And then there was a situation where he was gonna be walking.
Talk about the worst case scenario. This is all shades of wrong. The fact that all of this started from a church is just mind-blowing. Ms. Galloway says that they slept in the van and nothing happened while they did. Mr. Harris, on the other hand, remembers things differently and says they had sex.
You met him in church?
Yes.
And the next thing you know, you having sex with him in an abandoned van?
Yes, ma'am.
You did not use protection?
No, we did not use protection, and it was like maybe 3 minutes, and then he was like, okay, I have to use the
3 minutes, 45 minutes.
You mean
45 minutes?
You mean 4 to 5 minutes?
You saying 30?
It was not no 4 to 5 minutes.
Well, it was long enough to potentially...
I mean, that is a very good question. What does she mean by that? Jeez. Ms. Galloway says that the first time they had sex in the abandoned van, he did not make the cut as a good man in bed, so she decided to give him another chance. I'm sorry, but is this what they do in the church these days?
Okay, so January 18th is when I took the home pregnancy test, and that's when I sent him the text message and the pictures. Now, right after that, I went to the emergency room, and she said that you have 2 babies, and I'm like, okay, 2 babies, you know, you got the wrong person. She was like, no, this is you. You're 10 weeks long now, and this is 2 babies right here. I see.
Ugh. What is it with these people and having to post the truth about their situation on Facebook? Ms. Galloway admits to picking up the phone and telling Mr. Harris when she found out she was pregnant. But hold up, Mr. Harris said he got the news on Facebook.
Understand this, let me understand. Mr. Harris, you're saying that Ms. Galloway also slept with some other musicians that played at the church with you?
Lonnie is a musician, he plays the keyboard.
And Lonnie is Mr. Samuel.
Right, Mr. Lonnie Samuel.
And he's here in court with us as well.
I'm so glad, because Mr. Samuel actually Mr. Samuel, me and Mr. Samuel was cool until we fell out behind a woman.
I can't believe what my ears are hearing for real. Mr. Harris says that she also slept with another guy who plays the piano in their church. He even goes on to say that the dude she also slept with sleeps with several other girls in the church. The police better pay that church a visit.
So what you presented to the court here are copies of the children's birth certificates.
Correct, Your Honor.
Where the father's information is
not
blank.
Correct.
Space intentionally left blank.
Right.
If
she had an option to put the name right there and then.
Well, at least we can believe one thing. These two were definitely not in a relationship. With all this yelling and yapping, there is no way they could have lasted through a relationship. But Mr. Harris says that his name is not on the birth certificate because she doesn't know who the dad is.
Of the twins.
No, ma'am, I am not the father of the twins. Look at him, y'all know. Come on now, look at him, look at the babies. Think about it. Ray is known as being a hoe.
Okay, let's speak respectfully. Say it nicely.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Okay, well, he's known for being a dog.
I'm a dog. What are you? Your wife know you here right now?
Okay.
Your wife even know you down here right now.
Okay, we had the same past.
It looks like the fight is now with Mr. Harris and the other dude Ms. Galloway might have slept with. The other dude claims that Mr. Harris sleeps with almost everyone in the church, and he knows for sure he is the father of the twins. Could he be right?
Girl, you cannot deny that child, Your Honor. Then when the kids got sick, she tell me, I be like, where's Mr. Harris? Oh,
Lonnie, if you knew that, why you ain't never hit me in the inbox, Lonnie?
Think about it. Now you know we was cool.
Now you know we fell out over a woman. Come on, let's be real.
All right, let's talk one at a time. I want to understand this. You say what, Mr. Samuels?
That's surprising. The other guy says that he never had a sexual relationship with Ms. Galloway. He says that he loves children, and all he did was step up for the twins since Mr. Harris was not doing anything or helping in any way to take care of the kids.
Just like that. If you want to know something, tell her to give me a DNA test and we can go from there. Then I hung up the phone on him. A gospel rapper called me and asked me, man, what's going on with you and her, man? You denying the kids like that, you going in like that? It made me look like a bad person. The person feel like, what I'm gonna pay you some money for when you ain't even taking care of your own responsibility.
How much money specifically have you lost because of this?
Altogether, about $3,900.
I mean, Judge Lauren isn't wrong though. They sure seem to know how to do a lot of research. They might as well have done proper research on the disadvantages of having sex with multiple people. Well, let's get the results out and see if they've been telling the truth.
Mr. Samuel, you are not the father. Mr. Harris, you are the twins' father.
In this situation, Ms. Greer claims she is sorry for having revenge sex on her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Thompson. Now, she has no idea who her child's father is. Mr. Thompson, on the other hand, says that if he ends up being the one, he wants full custody of the child.
Ms. Greer, you are the mother of 1-year-old Lanaya. You say you regret cheating on the defendant, Mr. Thompson, as an act of revenge to hurt him.
Yeah.
Clue, who fathered your child? Greer, why did you wait 6 months to tell Mr. Thompson he may not be your child's father?
I found out that he cheated on me, and I wanted to get revenge.
Take notes, people. Revenge sex never brings any good results, especially if you intend on staying with your partner. Ms. Greer claims that she found out that Mr. Thompson cheated on her, and her way of getting back at him was to meet a guy on a dating site and sleep with him.
Me and my family had moved to Tennessee, and all of a sudden I get a Facebook message from Ms. Greer saying that she's pregnant, and I told her that she was lying, that I didn't believe her, so I told her to send a message of the pregnancy test that she took with it, and she did. And after that, me and my family had moved back to Atlanta, Georgia so they can help me take care of my child because...
Wow. This has to be the most heartbreaking situation I've ever seen. Mr. Thompson says that his family had to go back to Ms. Greer's state so he could take care of the baby when he found out Ms. Greer was pregnant. Sadly, he had no idea that Ms. Greer had slept with another man.
That's about how you look. So you were there through it all?
Yes.
This very moment where you're exhausted, you all been up all night, and yet you're excited and joyful, you have no clue.
No, Your Honor.
That she had slept with another man.
I didn't know nothing about it. This after I cut her umbilical cord when she was in the hospital.
You can't help but feel sorry for Mr. Thompson right now. I mean, he was there all the way, from the day the child was born till the moment he found out that she had cheated. What's even crazy is that after Ms. Greer left the hospital, she moved in with Mr. Thompson and his family. Wow.
When one of her family members posted it on Facebook about that the baby's not mine, that it can be two other people I guess she was sleeping with.
Wait, her family member posted this on Facebook?
On my page.
On your page? After you've been at the hospital with the baby and everybody knew how excited and happy you were?
Ms. Greer has some really hateful people in her family. Why would they post something like that on Mr. Thompson's Facebook page? The wild part about it is that Ms. Greer was actually sleeping with two other men. In her defense, she says her family members were jealous. Yeah, right.
I didn't want to ruin the relationship that we had. And when I told him, he started crying. And it made me feel bad because, you know what I'm saying, this is the man I love, and it just like tore everything apart.
If your family member never posted this on Facebook, would you ever told him the truth?
Yes, Your Honor, till she was a year old.
When she was a year?
Haha, the odds were definitely not in her favor. I'm definitely not buying her story. She says she was going to tell Mr. Thompson that he was not the father of the child when the baby was over a year old. Her plan was to get him attached to the baby before dropping the bomb on him. Evil.
Well, it hurts me a lot because I really want to be her father. Finna be 2 years. She's been living with me for the last 3 months. Yes.
And where's Miss Greer? She lives with you all too?
My brother and his baby mama and his family and her family.
Oh, wait a minute. So...
Yo, that is insane. Mr. Thompson tells Judge Lauren that he has been the one taking care of the baby for almost 2 years now, all by himself. Apparently, Ms. Greer has not been very around to take care of the child. If it turns out that he isn't the child, this man is going to break down.
And the third time, we did not use the condom. She stayed over my house the whole weekend. Some kind of way, her and my sister became close friends and ended up hanging out and conversating with each other. Okay, a few weeks after that, I found out she was pregnant. She told me she was pregnant. I asked her, was it mine? She said no, it was her boyfriend.
What? She lied about her age? Man, this woman needs to be arrested. The other potential father walks into the courtroom, and boy does he drop some crazy truth bombs. He even tells the judge that she lied about having a boyfriend when she came over to his house.
Girl, I found this on Facebook where she hooked up with another dude. Well, that's not me in the picture or Mr. Thompson in the picture.
Okay, but Ed, that's my ex-boyfriend, so?
Baby father.
He's not Lil Naya daddy. And so what?
Okay, so you see this picture posted with true love by it. So now you think there's a third possible father.
Yes, and
Like I said, Mr. Tolles came into this courtroom to drop some heavy truth bombs. Let's just say that Ms. Greer has not been very truthful about the whole situation. I can't believe there is a third guy in the situation, and he is one of her exes. This lady is unbelievable.
This man in this picture, you say that's your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you in a relationship with him during the time you also weren't having sexual relations with Mr. Thompson and Mr. Tolles? So there's no way when I read these results.
No, ma'am. No.
Or any other man for that matter.
Oh, Your Honor.
One of these two men.
Ms. Greer says that she is very certain that the father of her baby is one of the two men in the courtroom. Well, let's see if she is right. The results are here, and this is Judge Lauren's verdict.
That her biological father is Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Brown says he found sex tape of his wife with another man, and now he's saying that he is 100% certain he isn't the father of her 11-month-old child, Amira. Ms. McKinney, who is also pregnant, is screaming that that's a lie and that Mr. Brown must step up as he is definitely Amira's dad. Here is how she puts it.
And that the fact that that's his daughter, and it's not about look, it's about DNA. And I'm here today to prove and show that he is the father of Amira Brown.
Well, we'll see about that. Mr. Brown, on the other hand, has no doubts that the DNA test results will come back negative. He also thinks that the man who starred in that video with his wife may be the child's father.
Because when she was born, she did not look like me. And I waited, I gave it time to see how she would look, and more every day that I look and take pictures with Amira, she has his face, and it bothers me a lot.
So you feel Amira looks like the man you saw on the sex tape with your wife?
Yes, I do. More and more every day.
Wait, did Mr. Brown just accuse his wife of incest? That's insane. But how did he even get this tape that caused all of this? And how did Ms. McKinney and this man act out such a tape?
The girls, they like snatching her phone. So they grabbed her phone before they came against the video. I grabbed it and it pressed play. And I seen the beginning of the video and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
I mean, at the time, me and Mr. Brown was off and on.
How did you meet the other man?
I met him on a dating website. We started talking online, and then I finally met him in person, and he came to my house.
Sheesh, 10 times? Gosh, things are starting to look insane. And the man who's on the tape is in court today, and he doesn't mince words at all. It's straight to the point with this guy.
Well, when I first met Miss McKinley, we was talking on the dating site, and the day I met her, Mr. Brown was present, but they wasn't together. But I seen them face to face.
Oh, the day you met her in person? Was?
She never told me. She said that she just got out of a relationship and that they was done.
All right, so you started having unprotected sex with Miss McKinney?
Yes.
I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like just 10 times. The real number is probably double that, at the very least. Anyway, Ms. McKinney got pregnant, and here is what she told everyone.
And she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me
I
nothing.
said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth for him and him.
That sex
back
tape
and forth.
was April 9th, and Amira was born April 9th.
Did that math add up?
No,
that math didn't add up at all. So Ms. McKinney was acting out a tape on the day she gave birth? What? Really? At 9 months pregnant? That's insane. The funny thing is that before Ms. McKinney gave birth, Mr. Brown already knew that something fishy was going on. Here is how he puts it.
Yeah, I was present.
And then when you found out, did you say, oh, I'm so excited, or did you say, is this my child?
First, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited. And then when we went to the hospital back in September, they would say she was 11 weeks pregnant. And then when they told her the due date,
it was 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. 12 weeks pregnant, actually. And then they told the due date, whatever. When we went back again, they was like April 23rd, and I'm like...
Okay, Mr. Spidey senses. You felt something you wanted right and decided to do something about it. Mr. Brown was present at the birth and made sure not to sign for the birth certificate. Even though he was legally married to Ms. McKinney, once he saw the baby, he thought something was wrong. And he explained how in this long, crazy, almost schizophrenic rant.
That Amira, I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be Mr. Jonathan's child, because she started looking more and more like him. And then you had people inboxing her saying,
wow, you can clearly see why Mr. Brown feels so strongly that this child isn't his. He has done a full scientific study on this stuff. He knows it in his heart, and there's nothing anyone can do to change his mind. And now, to blow your mind, guess what?
And not only that, she's pregnant with my child now, so it's like...
You said now you're having another baby?
Yeah.
I may be the father, right?
No, that's my child.
But let me ask you, could you be the father?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So, do you believe you are Amira's father?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you were intimate with Miss McKinney?
2017 of April.
Oh, so it's scientifically improbable that this other fellow is the father. Does that mean that Mr. Brown could end up being the father after everything? That would be crazy. Let's see what the DNA test has to say about this.
In the case of McKinney versus Brown, when it comes to 11-month-old Amira Brown, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
What? What? What just happened? So neither man fathered Amira? So who is the father then? There's a third man in the mix? If there's a third man, why didn't Ms. McKinney let us know? Well, there's nothing left for her to do but cry about her sorry fate.
McKinney? McKinney, are you okay? Jerome, help her. Jerome, help her. Jerome will help you up, Miss McKinney, and I want you to sit in the chair. Someone call the medic, please.
Now I can promise you that this particular case will leave you imagining the wildest things and asking yourself, how can this even be possible? Well, I hope you're ready, guys, because you are definitely about to be wowed. This was how the case began in the courtroom.
You're here because you say certain facts have come to light that make you believe that you fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins and not the other. You claim a botched home DNA test separated you from your daughter, London, and you intend to rectify that issue today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Thorpe, you say Mr. Morris's claim is ridiculous.
It all started in an outrageous manner, with Mr. Morris claiming to have only fathered one child out of the pair of twins that were born by his girlfriend, Ms. Thorpe. Does that even make any sense? How do you father one child out of a pair of twins? Damn.
Originally, I was believed that both of them was mine. Over time, certain circumstances made me feel like neither were mine. And then after that, different things happened that made me believe just London was.
We've examined this issue completely in this courtroom, and we do know it's possible for a man to be the father of one.
Their relationship didn't particularly start off as the typical Sleeping Beauty and Princess Charming kind of sirery. There were loopholes, trust me, and Ms. Thorpe didn't waste any time in stating them without hesitation.
I told Antoine that I wanted to be in a relationship with him, and he turned me down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child. So when that time happened, I got upset and I started messing with another guy.
Okay, and this was after you were already intimate with Mr. Morris?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you went into the tit for tat, if he don't want me.
Now Ms. Thorpe finds out she's pregnant, and of course she tells Mr. Morris. Is he happy about it? Well, he sure is, and he seems like the happiest man in the world. But all good things don't last now, do they? We are definitely going to find out if this is one of those situations.
I was ecstatic. I was very, very happy. Like I went all out. I bought two of everything. It cost a lot. It was bassinets here, strollers there, car seats. Moved her into a family member house during her pregnancy. Try to make her as comfortable as possible. She hungry every day.
In no time, the sweet baby daddy turned into the doubtful baby daddy. He starts asking himself questions like, are they really mine? Should I get a DNA test done? What if she lied to me from the beginning? All shades of doubt start to settle in Mr. Morris's head.
All right, so you send the results in, and of course, how do they come back?
0% probability.
But you do understand that you didn't even use the swabs right.
I would just hope, I don't know. Like I said, so.
No, you don't.
Now, finding out the twins aren't his, he texts his baby mama, being all angry and furious. When he doesn't get a reply from her, what does he do? He goes to social media and posts the news everywhere, saying he isn't the kid and his baby mama lied to him. Trust me, he's one crazy person.
Told me that the DNA test came back and that the twins were not his. At the time, I didn't respond automatically because, like I said, I was at work. So he ended up getting very upset and ended up posting it all over social media and telling everybody. He posted all over social media and told everybody that the DNA test came back and that the kids were not his.
The bombshells continue to drop and things start to blow out of proportion. Another surprise comes in. Mr. Morris wasn't the regular old Mr. Good Guy he was claiming to be. He got another woman pregnant. Oops. Now, that's a lot from him. Oh, trust me, Judge Lauren was about to lose her cool.
Age.
Oh, you had two women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
You on team too much all the way around. All the way around.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had another baby by another woman at the same time.
The same reason when I was telling Imani why I couldn't be in a relationship with her, because I was in a long-term relationship with someone else. We was on a break then, but
not that.
The beautiful thing about this situation was the fact that Mr. Morris had an amazing relationship with the twins. He told the judge that even though he had doubts about one of them, he still treated them with so much love and care.
What kind of relationship do you have with the twins now?
Great.
They call you daddy?
No.
They're 4.
They call me Uncle Twan.
Uncle Twan?
Yes.
Boy, you about crazy. You just got too much going on. You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I didn't tell them to.
Oh, you told them to, Miss Thorpe?
No, Your Honor. They just developed that because...
Well, The suspense is finally over, and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Morris and Ms. Thorpe. All eyes on the judge as she unleashes the truth. Get ready, because here come the DNA results.
Case of Morris versus Thorpe. When it comes to 4-year-old Paris Morris, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Morris, you are not the father.